Well, welcome back again. This is another tutorial for a round border. This is part 2 of a spiral knot border for a round circular shape. If you haven't seen part 1, you're going to want to go to my playlist and watch that, because that's where we set up this circular grid here. Today, in part 2, what I want to do is set it up, put all the dots in and the breaks in that you would normally see for Celtic knots. And the dots and the breaks are going to set this up so that we can draw in our rough design when I do the third part of this tutorial, which will be the next video. Okay, so today I just kind of want to lay out, now that we have our circular grid, again from tutorial 1, I want to just kind of lay it out so that we can have something to work with, so that we know where our design threads and lines are going to go. Okay. To make things easier for this tutorial, now you're going to do this probably in whatever pencil you use. You're going to use light colors because you'll be erasing all of this, probably. Okay, but for today's tutorial, I am going to bring in a few extra colored pencils just to distinguish visually, so you can see it on the video a little bit better. And that'll be in addition to my normal pencil, my ruler, which I shouldn't need too much of, and, well, I don't think we'll need a compass today, but we'll need an eraser and stuff like that. So basically that's what I'm using today. I'm going to start off by using my blue, and each one of these boxes is going to need a dot in the middle. So we're just going to kind of go around the circle and put dots in the middle so that this looks like the grid you're used to. It'll help us develop our threads, the direction of our threads, spatial, our spatial stuff that we need to address as we're doing this, and overs and unders and stuff with the weave and things like that. So these dots are typical in doing Celtic knots. So it's going to be a little bit repetitive, which can be really calming and relaxing. I'm going to just show you something real quick, what we're working with. The end goal is to make a spiral knot using this spiral design. This is all the same spiral design as far as breaks are concerned and grid, but I just stylize them different. So these are basically all the same. They come from the same break style. And what we're working on today is going to be basically putting in the dots for the grid. These were the dots that were made for the straight grid. These were the breaks that were made for the straight grid. And today we're going to work on doing this part of it, okay? So it's just sort of laying it out so that we can do our rough design. Our rough design will go in on the next tutorial, okay? Just so to kind of give you an idea of where we're going with this. That's the goal. So today's going to be a little bit of technical stuff and a little bit monotonous, just doing repetitive stuff. But the goal is just to have something that we can work from. Now, I used grid paper. At this point in the game, I'm ignoring the grid paper now. This is my grid. This circle is my grid now. So I'm just ignoring the rest of it. If that is a problem for you, you can do this on paper without grid lines on it. And again, see part 1 where we set up this circular grid, where I walk you through how to break down all these sections into what I did for this design is 64 sections all the way around. And that's a pretty interesting video. It's kind of a standalone video. It shows you how to divide up your circles like this into equal parts without using mathematics or a protractor, but you can certainly use a protractor. All right, we're going to go through the last row. A lot of dots. I was going to do this off camera, but then I decided it's probably better that I do it on camera. I can always stop the video if it gets a little too monotonous. I can, but this is going pretty quick, so we're moving at a pretty good clip here. So, all right. And if at any point I feel like it's getting a little too repetitive and monotonous, I will try and get your dots as close to the center as possible. I kind of screwed that one up there a little bit, but it's not, you will be erasing these, and they are just for guidelines, so we can put guidelines in. But so again, when you're drawing in all of this stuff, your grid, your dots, your breaks, even the rough lines of your design, you're going to probably want to do them as lightly as you can get away with, because you're going to be erasing a lot of stuff. You're going to be erasing most of this. Okay, so we have our dots. The next thing I want to do is I want to sort of identify the top. So this is the top, the very top of my my circle here. Just kind of want to mark out from my eyes where the quadrants are, because there's a lot of lines and dots on here now, and there's certain things I want to make sure line up nicely when I put in my breaks. Okay, so all right, the next thing I want to do, now that I know where the center is here, so I'm going to put an X, and this is just kind of my technique, the way I'm doing this for this particular break design. But an X directly in the center, in the middle of this line here, right in the center. This is the center of the circle this way. It's the center of the circle this way. That's where I'm putting my X. There's a reason for that, and you will see why in a moment. All right, and then I want to put an X here in the center of this box here on this line, and an X here in the center of this line, an X here in the center between here, and an X here in the center between here. This diagonal line, is going to be part of, it's going to be this. So let me see if I can show you where I'm going with this. When I did the straight line, when I did the straight border, I put my X's here, and that's that diagonal line that goes this way. So I definitely want to mark that because that's like sort of the center of the, sort of the dead center of the spiral. I want to make sure I have that center of that spiral lined up with the center of the top so that the design looks right. And then because I worked out how to space everything, it's going to be centered here, it'll be centered here, and it'll be also centered on either side. So that way it's not going to look awkward when you look at it visually. Okay. All right. So now that I have that, the next thing I want to do is put in my breaks, right? So the breaks are the lines that you put in where you don't want your thread to cross. So these are the breaks that I'm putting in, and I don't want this line that would normally go straight. I don't want it to go straight. I want it to hit this line and turn. Okay, so that's what the break is for. It's to allow you to add in variations in your design. All right, so we're working on the center of this, and I think we're going to do the L here. All right, so it's like an L and then an upside down L on either side of this center X. Okay, so that's kind of the beginning. So we're going to be working with what I'm calling an L breaks and Z breaks. Okay, now the next one, the next break will be here. And we're going to take it down to here. And the reason why is I need it to go around these, right? So it's going to go, this is going to go in this direction here. Let's see, 1, 2, and 3. It's going to go 3 spaces this way. And then 3 spaces this way. Yep, 3.5 this way. Okay, so it's going to go kind of like that. All right. All right, what next? Now, that's the Z on one side. And then we're going to have, if you look at this, the way it's laid out, it's going to start it's going to look a little complicated at first, and I'll explain it a little bit better. I'm a visual person, so let's see. I'm trying to make sure I do this the right way because, oops, no, I did not do that right. I knew I did something wrong. Something wasn't feeling right. I didn't leave enough space. See, I had to play with this to figure out where the spaces were going to be. This is supposed to go here all the way over. Okay, that makes a little more sense to me now. Okay, and then it'll just follow the rest of the pattern. So it'll be 3.5. All right. So 1, 2.5, 1, 2.5 at the top. So it's like 2.5 spaces at the top and then 2.5 at the bottom. Okay? With 1 space in between. So yeah, a little complicated, but that's how I worked out the breaks for this. Now, let's go back to the straight one. And it was kind of the same. So it was like, you know, there was a space that needs to be in between here, like 1 box in between here, which is 1 box. Space here, which is 1 box. So I got 1 box here. I had to play with this one because we're working with a different type of grid. So it's a little different here. It's not quite a box, but that's okay. Same thing at the bottom. All right, inside we have a box and a box. And so I kind of had to play with the spacing. So it got a little complicated, but we worked it out. All right, we worked it out so that now I can use that same pattern. The same pattern will go all the way across. All right, so I have an L here on this side. So we're just repeating this. We're just going to repeat it over and over all the way around. There's our L's. Okay, and then here's where our Z's come in, and our Z's will go here, down to the center of that one, and it will go over to center of 1, 2.5. Okay, so you see now we're starting the pattern. I want to kind of work all the way over to here because I want to show you how it lines up here. And you don't want to rush through this process because you want to pay attention to what you're doing. All right. Hopefully this isn't confusing to you. I'm trying to, you know, a lot of this was trial and error for me, just to kind of get it to work spatially in a different way. All right, 1, 2.5. All right. One, 2.5. All right. So here we are at the, and this is important. This is what I wanted to show you. And we're going to go back to our green. We're going to put an X here. Remember, we have these X's in the center. There'll be an X here in the center here, an X here in the center here, X center here, X center there. Okay, so this is where your line is going to go in the center of your knot. So it's important that these line up properly because when you look at it visually, you're going to want it to look balanced. Okay, that was the big issue that I was running into. I needed it to look balanced. But once you get it, it's just repeating the pattern across your 1, 2.5. going to create our box in the middle. There's our Z, 1, 2.5. Looks kind of cool this way. It's a cool design in and of itself. But these will be erased when you do your final thread. 1, 2.5. All right, now we're getting to the other side, so let's hope the other side lines up. And it looks like it will. Okay. One, 2.5. Okay, so let's make sure that that works. We're in the center. We're in the center. Yes, we are. It looks good. So we're going to mark off the center of all these. Okay, and that is where our thread will go. Okay, now we can finish doing the rest of the circle. And then I will finish, I'm not sure how much I'm going to do here. Depends on how long this takes me. I might do the initial line on here just to show you how this works. Well, let's see how this goes here. Let's see how this goes here first. This is why I'm putting the dots in, because that way I can keep track of where I'm putting my lines and make sure they all go where they're supposed to go. Okay, this is going pretty quick. All right. I'm doing this quick now because I've done this several times, so I'm kind of used to it, but when you're doing it for the first time, oh wow, your brain has to contort itself in a lot of different ways to make sure you're doing stuff right. Okay. Because, you know, down here at the bottom now we're looking at stuff upside down, so it's sort of like flip it. In a way, you're flipping it, although it's mirrored, so you're not flipping it really. All right, looks like we did it okay. We're back where we started and everything looks good. Breathe a sigh of relief. Okay. All right. Down here, we didn't do this, but down here, there's the center of that box, the center of that box, the center of that box, and the center of that box. And that's where our center point is going to go. Okay. And it's sort of, you're sort of looking at it like it's probably going to pinwheel that way, right? All right, so that's how we're, let's see, should I do it? Should I do it? Yeah, I think I will. All right, let's go ahead and around and we'll mark all of them. Since this is going pretty quick, we'll just mark all of them. And that way it'll make a colorful presentation, right? So we're just going to mark all these, and I know other people have other techniques of doing this kind of stuff. This is just mine, okay? This is just mine. And if you have any techniques that you'd like to share with this kind of stuff, please do. Please share in the comments. I don't mind tips and advice. It'd be nice to build a community. All right, and we are doing good. I think we're doing good for time, so what I might do, okay, almost there. And what do we have? One more? Did I miss any? I have one more. Okay, so let's mark it out. That's the diagonal for the spiral, the diagonal for the spiral. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do stuff like this. It's all in whatever helps you get the job done, right? So you can see that this is going to go in like a pinwheel kind of a pattern. The diagonal of this line is going to go as it turns. It's going to go in a pinwheel kind of a pattern. So, all right, so we did this. Now maybe what I'll do before I sign off here is I'll draw in some of the lines. I don't know how well you're going to see it on the video because I'm going to draw it in lightly. But in the next video, we'll go through and I'll take that line in a pencil without all these colors, and then we'll work it out we'll flesh it out into something that's more of a thread, not a line. All right, so let me just kind of, I'll do a few of these. I'll tell you, I'll do that. I won't do the whole thing, but I'll do a few just to kind of show you, because I intend to do this in the next tutorial. But just to show you where this is going with these breaks and these dots and these X's, let's just show you where it's going. All right, so I said that this break, no line can go beyond this break. So it comes here and it says, oh, I can't go that way, I have to turn. And it would turn this way, except there's a line here also. So it can't go that way either. So the only thing this can do is turn this way. And it goes up here and it can't go that way. It turns and it can't go that way. So it does the same thing. And it'll turn and go down diagonally. And there's a line here, so it can't go any further. So it has to bend. And then there's a line here, so it has to bend again. And then it's going to go this way. And then it's going to go this way. And it's going to meet up with the diagonal of the other one. All right, now let's go to the other end of this. It can't go this way, so it's going to go through this tunnel, because I created basically a tunnel, a maze for the line to travel in. Okay, and it's going to turn here, and it's going to go this way, and it's going to meet up with this one. So the top and the bottom, they meet that So let's do that a little neater. All right, so you see where it's starting to go. Okay. All right, so same thing here. And you're just repeating the pattern over and over again. And everything just sort of loops into each other. Right now it looks like a jumble of lines, but in the next tutorial we're gonna make it look, we're gonna put something down on paper that looks. Now again, when you're doing this, when you do this, when you lay it out, you're not gonna have all this crazy stuff going on. This is all stuff that I just put down on paper, the different colors and stuff so you can see it. And all of these lines, including this line that I'm drawing right now, this curvy line, is all gonna be done very lightly so you can erase it, because it's gonna be erased. It's all just guidelines, okay? So let's do this one. We're doing the same sort of. I'll just do a few. Let's go through the tunnel here. We're going to go this way and we're going to meet up with that. Okay. Just so you can kind of see. All right, should we do like a couple more maybe? I mean, I don't know how I'm doing in time. All right, we'll do a couple more and we'll sign off. All right, we'll just do this one. Start here. Oops. Yep. That's where it's going. This one kind of boggled my mind a little bit, I will say. Trying to work this out. Doing this in a round. Okay. So I think we're just gonna kind of leave it there. I think we get the idea now. Okay. So basically what we did today is we put in our dots for our grid to make it a proper grid. And then we put in our breaks, our L breaks, and our Z breaks, and then identified the center of where our spiral was going to be, that diagonal center, to make sure that it's aligned properly on all sides. And again, when you do this, you just kind of have to play with it. Play with the spacing a little bit. The spacing here on this round one is a little bit different than the spacing that I did on here, because I had to make sure that everything came together in an endless loop, first of all, and that everything was aligned at the top and bottom. So I had to play with the spaces a little bit, but basically, you know, that you have your L brackets in the middle to create a space, a box, kind of a space here. You need some space in between so that your thread can travel around, and then some space underneath and on top so that your threads can link up with the threads next to it. Okay, so that's basically how this is all going. It's all sort of fluid. So the next one that I will do will be a neater version of this. I'll probably do something lighter like this. I'll start something lighter like this, and then we will double up the lines like this, and then we'll sort of, in the final video, which will be part 4, we'll do some maybe stylize and add texture and shading and all kinds of interesting stuff. All right, so if you haven't seen the first tutorial on how to lay out the grid itself, please go ahead and take a look at that, watch that, because that's important. If you haven't seen the videos for the straight I can't think, the straight spiral, maybe go back and watch those, and that'll kind of help you along with the style and where I'm going with this one. Okay. I have a Patreon account, which is new. Trying to build up a community. If you have any suggestions on how I can do that, please leave them in the comments, either here or on Patreon. You can join for free for now if you like, or if you want to support me, which I need all the support I can get at this point. It's $4 a month, and you can help me try and build a community where, you know, we discuss art stuff. Maybe we do, you can watch me do some more complex art. I delve maybe into the history of some of these styles. I might do some DIY stuff from my Dye Studio Designs products and stuff like that. So if you like this kind of stuff, if you like this video, please like it, comment, share it with anybody. Remember that this is part 2 in a 4-part series on this round border knot. So part 3 will be coming next. So keep your eye open for that. I'm trying to get them done as quickly as possible because I fell behind with the winter and everything. I fell behind. So I'm not going to keep rambling on. Just comment, like, share, and thank you so much for being here. And happy drawing. Bye-bye.